So my name is Dorothy Burge, and I am born and raised in the city of Chicago in 1954.
My name is Jamie Neal. I was born in Chicago 2005. The most influential person in my life is my mother, because she's strong. She always make a way and find a way for us to get what we need. The most important thing she told me was responsibility.
I think one of the most influential people in my life was, just like you said, Jamie, it was my mother. My mother was a strong Black woman. She worked hard. She was a single mother, had 7 children. She taught us responsibility. She told us that education was really, really important. And she made sure we lived in community and respected people in our community.
How did you end up doing what you do?
So I am an activist. I have fought for different social justice issues. I was very involved in the fight for reparations in the city, getting people who had been wrongfully convicted out of prison. So now what I'm doing after being retired from teaching for 26 years, I am now using art to tell the history of African Americans in this country. And how this happened is that my daughter was a docent at DuSable Museum when she was in high school, and they created an exhibit called Citizens Picnic, and it was about lynching in America. And so this is the first quilt that I created, and it was for that exhibit.
Oh, it was in the museum?
Yes, at the DuSable Museum.
What advice would you give to your teenage self?
That I need to pay attention to what I want to do in life. Because when I went to school, my degree was in art design, and everybody said, you are not going to be able to make a living as an artist. You need to find something else to do. And so I went back to school and got a degree in urban planning and policy. And while I really liked it, and it was an incredible career, I do wish that I had at least explored art as a career a lot earlier in my life.
When they told you that you had to find something else, how did that make you feel?
It made me feel like the talent that I had, I was not going to be able to use it. So it made me put something that I was really passionate about to the side and make it a hobby or make it something that I did on the side.
How have things changed in Chicago since you were younger?
Some things haven't changed at all, and some things have changed drastically. When I was in high school, I went to Lindblom, and at the time there were very few people of color at Lindblom, so we were met with a lot of resistance from the people who lived in that community. There was one time when I was a freshman where one of our classmates who was jumped by a gang of white kids in the neighborhood, and the Nation of Islam heard about it, and they came to the school and walked us from the school to the bus stop for about a week to make sure that we were safe. In some ways, I think we've come a long way. In other ways, I don't think things have changed at all. Police misconduct was an issue when I was a kid. It's still an issue. We fought very hard. I got barred from attending Lindblom because we walked out because they weren't teaching African American history then. When I'm talking to young people, I still discover that they really have not learned a lot about African American history, and that is really disheartening for me. So I'd like to ask you some questions if it's okay.
For sure.
So what I'd like to ask you is, I want you to imagine it's 5 years from now. So you're going to be 21 years old, and everything in your life has gone exactly as you have wanted it to do. So I want you to tell me One, where are you living?
I'm living in Chicago still. Probably downtown somewhere where the nicer houses is, get out the hood.
Okay, so you're going to be living in Chicago. What kind of work are you doing?
Well, I wanted to study in cosmetology, doing hair, and to open up my own shop. It's gonna be a salon.
So that's really interesting to me. Do you know about Annie Porro Malone? So Annie Malone was the first African-American woman millionaire, and she made her money in cosmetology. She taught other African-Americans how to use the different products that she created and how to create their own lines.
So she taught other people about black hair care?
Yes, and how to create different products for black hair.
Yeah, because I heard in cosmetology school, they don't really teach you about that, so.
Yes, so she taught people how to create their own products with African American skin and African American hair. Who in history kind of inspires you?
Well, this probably, a common thing everybody say, but Martin Luther King, because he taught me how to stand up for what I believe in, don't be afraid to speak out. Because I used to be so shy, but once I started watching him and watching the videos of him talking to the people, it just opened my eyes to make me want to speak up for myself. Yeah.
I think that's incredible. When I started off at your age, I was very introverted also. And so it was really hard for me to really kind of speak up for myself or to be part of different organizations because I was just so quiet that I would go to different places and I would just sit there. Yeah, and so people would say, okay, so why are you here? And I would really be interested, it's just that I didn't want to talk about it. But I was interested in being there. I was interested in what people were doing, but I just,
Yeah, me too.
was not ready to really talk about who I was and what I could do or any of those things. What skills do you have that you want to use?
Well, I'm very creative. I like to do a lot of arts and crafts stuff. I'm open-minded. I like trying new things. Well, I just like to draw. I like experiencing with a lot of colors.
So there is a technique that I think would be really, really good for you, where you actually paint on fabric and then quilt it. And if that's something that you're interested in, I'd be more than happy to show you how to do that. We'll set up a date and we'll do it.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for letting me ask you some questions about what you do. I hope you accomplish everything you want to accomplish in life and get further with what you do.
Thank you. I enjoyed meeting with you, and we'll set up a time to quilt. And I hope that you're going to have this really incredible company that I can come to and get my hair done. And, I just really wish you all of the best in the world, and especially want to see you not only open up your own business, I'd like to see you be the next Madam C.J. Walker with your own product line. Oh.